Hey, friends. Hey, family. I'm super excited to be live today. I never do nighttime readings, and I actually really love the nighttime. So it might be something that I want to implement going forward. I also, let's clear that out. Um, I also have been wanting to do more tarot and oracle readings for you all on YouTube since I keep getting asked about it, but I was waiting for one very specific deck to come, which I got today. And I told myself, once I get that deck, then I'm gonna do the readings. Then it's ready to be used. And shout out to Azure who helped me locate this deck and recommended it to me. Um, and there was like a live video from the owner today too. So I felt like it was just perfect timing. But I wanted to get on and talk because I feel like this eclipse energy has been really fucking wild, like really, really wild. Um, and kind of like severe. I wouldn't even, maybe severe is not the end or word, but like the energies have been very opposite. Like either you're feeling really emotional and you're like trudging through the mud, or you feel super happy, but also having a little bit of trouble maintaining that happiness. Um, and it's it's just a really big portal. So I like to think of solar eclipses as, think about like if you're going through a tunnel, right? You don't have the same visibility, you don't have the same energy that you would if you were outside of the tunnel. And so I don't know if any of you had done this when you were kids, but like when you go through the tunnel, you like hold your breath and you make a wish, right? Like that's basically how I see um solar eclipses. Like you are going through this portal, you're kind of holding your breath because you don't know what's going on and you can't see what's on the other side, but you feel like there's a bunch of tower moments or a bunch of things that may be falling down and around you in your life. But then there's also this really beautiful pasture on the other side, right? So I feel like that's what's really going on right now. And today and tomorrow, we are going to be in Libra. And Libra is very much so about balancing your life out, tipping the scales if you need to, adding this or subtracting this here, and finding the right in between for yourself. But energetically, it can feel like a lot, especially with things that have been going on in the world recently. So, really finding that balance between your own harmony, your own serenity, and being peaceful, but also finding that inner activist, right? Because the work that I do, and if you're on this channel and if you're on my Instagram page, is very much so around generational healing and ancestral work and spiritual work, and really being like global peace advocates in a way, stewards of the land, right? We're protecting Mother Earth, we're protecting ourselves, but we're also nourishing ourselves and undoing a lot of cycles that we no longer want to carry anymore, so we can ascend and be happy and prevent the things that are happening in the world today. So if you are more in the spiritual realm and you have been really focusing, I cannot talk, seriously, focusing on doing your inner work and getting to know yourself, this energy might feel a little bit heavy today. I think I've talked to quite a few people in the last couple of days and they've been really feeling it. It seems like everybody I've been meeting over the last week, or yeah, over the last week, maybe like 5 or 6 days, people I don't even know also recently have gone through a heartbreak or gone through some sort of loss and are really trying to find themselves again. So it's it's an interesting time. Like you might feel like if you're more in the grieving stage, or if you're in the loss stage, or really trying to figure out who you are and to get to know yourself, it can feel like you lost a part of yourself. So I do want to acknowledge that because we don't really talk about grief as a culture, and we don't really talk about grieving expectations or rewriting your own story. And yes, there's amazing possibilities ahead of you, but you also want to acknowledge how you're feeling right now, and that's perfectly okay. It's just we don't want to stay in that frequency for a very long time. So um, I had also been feeling it as well this morning, and went outside, bettered my day, went slow, did some things for myself, took care of myself. And I started to feel a lot better, but definitely feels a little bit heavier today. Excuse me. And my ears were ringing all day, and I kept getting these nudges to go on YouTube, and I was like, I feel like there's a lot of messages that probably have to come through. So I'm going to do a reading today for you all. So I hope you enjoy it. There was something else I was going to say, but I can't really remember. And also, I opened officially today. Well, after this live, I am going to be doing more readings online as well. So you can choose between a phone call, you can choose between Zoom, or you can do the full fly with me session, which is a combo of tarot coaching and an inner child meditative quest, which are one of my favorites. I highly recommend them. And I have left the link below in the description. So that will be there for you when you are ready. And know that you also don't have to do this journey alone. I think that's come up a lot for people recently. Just feeling really alone or going through a heartbreak and not knowing who to talk to. And maybe your partner was your best friend, and you're not as close with your friends, you don't feel like reaching out to them. So it can feel very daunting. But know that you are not alone, and know that you are loved. Your ancestors and your guides and angels, archangels, everybody is here supporting you, cheering you on. I'm cheering you on. So I wanted to get this reading out today so you can have the messages that you are wanting to receive during this portal, during this transformation, because there is a huge beginning that is starting, and I've already felt the shift for myself. Things are just aligning better. Opportunities are flowing to me, new communities are flowing to me. So this is also a really beautiful time, but we really need to cut those ties, sever whatever energy is left from the past, so we can really welcome what is coming in. So if you have any low vibrational tendencies, habits like overspending or codependency, or putting yourself out too much, or not taking care of yourself, not speaking your truth, or even going to apologize to people. Maybe you've hurt some folks in the past and you just want to say, you know what, that was really fucked up of me. And I just want to say, I'm sorry. Like, this is a perfect time to do that. So you can go through this portal and move forward in a more grounded and loving space. So I'm going to get started. And just a little tidbit, since this is kind of new to my channel, I usually do tarot readings to help people heal their generational trauma or release things. And then we'll also share empowering messages. Someone on the live today was talking about, Black culture, African culture, and just readers in general. Like, we're very action oriented. So we're not going to always give you a reading and then just give you information and then you don't do any work. Like, that's not how it works. Like, we will give you guidance around a situation or guidance of what may be going on, and then we'll also share with you tips to get it done, or like to help you on your journey. So that is how my readings are also usually structured. And if you ever do a one-on-one reading with me, I do kind of coach you in between, or I ask questions, or guides or ancestors will come through and ask questions to kind of help, or they will clarify. So that is how I usually work. So it's pretty deep. I've got my, cup of water back here. I work very closely with the elements and the ancestors through what I choose. So earth, fire, water, mist, air type of things. Yeah, most of the elements, but today it's water. It was feeling like a very watery day. So I'm going to shuffle. I'm also, just so you know, I will usually take some quiet time so that way I can hear what's going on, feel what's going on. And so I don't always talk too much. So let's just kind of get into it. And I think I I want to start with, hmm, I think I'll start with this deck. We can just do the regular tarot deck. So let's see what themes are going on. Okay. Yeah, so we talked about that. The first card is Eight of Swords. So it could be paralyzing fear, hopelessness, imprisonment, but really wanting to move towards freedom and empowerment, getting through that portal. So this is usually, yeah, the air element. So has your mind been racing lately? I feel like I know mine has. So how can you implement practices throughout your day to really help you calm your mind down, slow your mind down, right? You don't want to go whirling through a portal, a portal, holding all of this busy energy. And in Ayurveda, we use, it said, air is like vata. So busy mind, anxiety, racing thoughts, right? We are mentally trapping ourselves. So how can you give yourself some liberation? How can you really ask yourself, is the story that I'm telling myself true about my past? Like if you are in a codependent type of situation, is there anything that you have learned from your family that is kind of keeping you there? I know one of the things that I experienced was that I had to be with someone in order to be successful, right? That was something that was passed down to me verbatim. And it's also a part of society. Like, are we able to be independent and on our own, especially as femme presenting people, if we choose to embark on a journey that is unknown to us, right? There's no one there before us doing it. So, how can you find some liberation? Like, I think this is a big one. I've talked to a lot of people who are feeling very heavy in their mind and heavy in their heart. And so, usually, if you're heavy in your heart, it also kind of starts with your mind, unless you've, experienced a loss, like a physical loss of someone or a soul. But it could be also a loss of an expectation or maybe an experience, like my friend and I talked about this morning. So the second card is the Knight of Pentacles. So yeah, I'm really feeling like, as you go through this portal or even afterwards, really be steady and reliable for yourself. This is a perfect time to create that consistent new habit, right? Like whether it's meditation, walking, yoga, eating better, eating from the earth, as we also practice in Ayurveda, and asking if there's anything that you don't want to do too. Like that's also a part of severing ties from the past and going through this portal and really coming out into the sun again, right? Setting those new intentions, because it's going to be a new moon. So it's a perfect time to plant new seeds. So, what seeds do you want to plant? And then, how can you really be reliable about it? How can you be consistent and avoid things like overworking or being overly risky, creating instability in your own life? Do you make decisions based on the chaos that you may have felt or learned that was safe for you? Maybe resting is actually more profitable for your business and for your livelihood, but you're used to hustling all of the time. And so you're used to that chaos, you're used to that momentum, and it's actually not helping you. So, how can you take another look at your own life in that lens, right? And really help yourself out as we transition through this portal during this Libra energy. And the last card, well, for the general theme, yeah, King of Cups. So this one came out in reverse. So maybe some of you are feeling super overwhelmed by this energy, which I was also getting. And I feel like a lot of people who I've talked to have been very overwhelmed by their own emotions, their own mind, tasks that they've given to themselves as if they're supposed to have their whole life figured out in this moment, which you're not supposed to. Is a transitional time, right? We are balancing the scale. So you're not going to always have a clear direction on what to do next, but you do need to set the time to heal and to like listen to your heart and do things that bring you joy, even if it's you wake up in the morning and you go for that walk, like I mentioned, right? So You can also work with the earth element. So, again, going outside, sitting in the earth, earthing, taking your shoes off and putting them into the dirt so you can really connect with Pachamama, Mama Gaia, and reconnect with your ancestors because your ancestors are also in the earth as well. Adding earth to your altars, right? A lot of you are conjure folk or have a craft or are very earthy people. So can you add the earth element in? I know some of you also work with cacao. It's very sacred. So if you have that practice, honor it. Now is the perfect time to help you as well to transition through this phase and start really rooted instead of starting from a foundation that's actually pretty rocky. Um, and then just on the back of the deck, we have the Four of Pentacles. So I would like to say, like, how can you really be generous with the love that you are showing for yourself right now, right? Like, and even if you want to show love to other people, a friend and I were planning some events and we wanted to make sure that the healers doing the work also were receiving healing themselves because it takes a lot of work for healers to hold space, to take on energy, to ascend to other folks. So, how can you really be intentional about that, right? Like, and not overly obsessed with getting your self-care routine right or taking care of yourself or putting parameters on how you show up for other people. Could you maybe ask questions instead of assuming so then you can both support each other better? Like, it's really just having that open communication. And how can you really go forward again through this transition with a different sense of openness and take that different perspective as well? So now I want to pull from, let's see, I'm going to do the Earthly Souls Spirit Oracle. That one's really fun. So that is this deck for anyone who's interested. This one's one of my favorites. It's got lots of like witchy vibes. Um, yeah, so what's peeking through is already family and mindfulness. So, can you be around your community right now? It doesn't have to be your physical family. It can be whoever you consider your family, other healers, spirituals, acquaintances. I met so many people today that were so sweet and did similar work as I did. And I was like, let's connect, like, let's hang out, let's whatever it is, right? Because you're going to gravitate the people who are on the same journey as you and have the same energy as you. So it's worth taking the time to get to know them. Yeah. So mindful came out again. So being really mindful about how you're showing up for yourself, how you're showing up in your community, and also how you're being mindful about your spiritual practice, because you can see that moon above and the trees kind of crossing over. And then you have the cat below. Like, cats are very liminal, like they're here and there. So they're able to go between realms. As mentioned. So, how can you be really mindful about your communication also with your ancestors or with the spiritual side, or even just working on your spirituality? Can you go out in nature and do this earthing, but also meditate and connect with the energy of the earth, to connect with your ancestors, to connect and clear your chakras, right? It's all about how can you get a little more connected and tapped into the energy within you to support you on this new journey, right? And so we already talked about this one. This one is family. So spending more time with your family, no matter what that looks like to you in whatever capacity. It could also be with your own animals, right? There's a lot of animals in this card, mostly cats, because this is a witchy deck. But how can you spend more time with your animals or around animals, or in the energy of animals? Like, if you have a practice where you like to channel the energy from other animals, like let's say it's Lionsgate and you want to channel the energy of the lion, is there a lion that's really calling to you right now? A lion, an animal? No, did I say animal? It's late. We'll move on. Um, so maybe you want to work with an owl or a fox or whatever animal comes to mind. I'm sure you know, you probably have seen many synchronicities or have seen them pop up in your cards. Like, what really is yearning to come out? It can be a wolf. I know I've seen a lot of wolves lately. This card, I love it. It says, have hope. So yes, like hope is so important right now, especially because there's a lot of energy and it's super fucking dense. But have hope because you are fully supported. Like, I love that they're sitting there and they're wearing this brightly colored dress. Like, a lot of the other cards, they kind of look like crones. And this one, they're wearing a really pretty green dress. And even though the trees are kind of barren, they look happy. They're very hopeful. They know that this season is going to pass. It just is what it is right now. So, how can you find a little bit more peace within what you are experiencing in this time of growth, right? Balancing those scales again with Libra energy. And then at the bottom, we also have gratitude. So, can you express a little more gratitude today or tomorrow or every day? Even if you sit in your bed, which I tell my clients, sit in your bed and you can write down or say to yourself three to five. I'm going to say 3 to 5, 3 to 5 amazing things that you did for yourself today or that you did in general. Like, I got up and I went outside and I just sat there and I enjoyed myself. Or I did this. I got my tarot reading out on YouTube and I spent time with my dog, right? So, what are you really grateful for? How can you find gratitude in every moment of your day? I know I talked about this with the Beam Me Up person who I had just met, and we were just saying, like, yeah, just be grateful for every moment that you have, every breath that you have, every step. Just kidding. I'm not going to sing that song, but it was going there. It felt like it was going there. And look, we have a fox. We were just talking about this, channeling energy of animals. So you have a fox and you have Earth here. Again, Earth showing up again. So connect with your ancestors, connect with the earth. When was the last time you were outside? When was the last time you got into water? When was the last time you picked up sticks or picked up rocks or whatever it is? I know I'm going to be getting a delicious, really, what the fuck is it? A delicious cacao drink. And I'm going to be walking in the morning when it's nice and cold because I love it and my dog won't pass out from a heat stroke. So that's what I will be doing. So can you do the same? What shall we pull from next? Let's pull, that one's not ready. So we can pull from this deck. I love this one. This is the spells deck. It's also that time of year. So let's be witchy and pull some cards. So let's just get one fun spell. If you want to do it, if you have a craft, you're welcome to. You really don't have to. Sometimes I'll even just take elements from a spell from here and just incorporate it. But let's see what comes out. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay. Okay. So I'm cracking up laughing because it literally says Gaia. So Gaia is one of the Greek primordial. This is gonna be rough, y'all. This is gonna be rough. Primordial deities and the embodiment of Mother Earth. Make this grounding foot scrub whenever you feel disconnected from the earth or plagued with anxiety. Allow Gaia to absorb your troubles, toxins, and energetic baggage. Wasn't I just talking about grounding and your feetsies? So I'm going to hold this up. You're welcome to pause it and take a photo. And then let's read these other two. Lover's Knot. Okay, yeah. A good time to reconnect with a lover. Love has been in the air. Like, there's been so many people separating, such as myself, but a lot of people separating, which means there's about to be a lot of people in new relationships. And we have lots of abundance coming, right? Like this card here, you can't see it, but it's the 8. Wait, it's totally upside down. it's covered. Wait, never mind. But anyways, we have a lot of energy coming in, a lot of security, groundedness, pentacles, cups cards, steadiness. Like you're on the precipice of really discovering true love a lot with yourself right now because you're in the transition, but then after that, new love in your life. So, lovers not a chance for reigniting and strengthening the bonds of partnerships between lovers. And this is literally a new moon spell. So, do this tomorrow if you feel like it. On the new moon, Beltane or midsummer, sit with your lover, each holding an end of a red cord. Simultaneously, take 10 deep breaths, soaking in the other's energy while deeply gazing into each other's eyes. As you breathe, think of all the joys, challenges, and periods of growth you've experienced afterward. Make 10 knots and 10 wishes for the season of love ahead. So you can take a picture of this if you want to do this. I love it. It's really cool. And it's just something fun to do together. You can also probably do this with a really close friend of yours and make like friendship knots if you want to strengthen your connection to each other. That could also be really fun. You could also write on the new moon what attributes you really want to call in for your next partner if you choose to, or partners, or whatever relationship you like, or nobody. Like whatever you are wanting to experience. So being really intentional. Hi, it's so good to see you. It's going good. I'm struggling with my words, but we're good. So another card is wolf. So wolves represent loyalty and protection in the pack. So I won't read this one because it's quite long, but I'm gonna hold it up in case you also want to do this spell. We were literally just talking about wolves, so this one might also be important for some people. Again, the lover's knot, and then Gaia, working with earth. So making sure that you are really connecting to yourself right now, no matter what phase you are in, but especially if you are going through any heartbreak or you just needing some extra love, just take care of yourself. I also want to pull a card from my crystals deck. So this is what it's called. It's one of my favorites. I use it all the time, and it just gives you a quick glimpse into what crystals might be good to work with. Yeah, this one was peeking through earlier. So this one's not a crystal, but it is an element, which also has elements. And it says water, emotional intuition, psychic powers, and healing. And I have my cup of water, as I mentioned. So make sure that you are really spending time to cleanse yourself in water, be around water, drink lots of water. I always share on my story having a warm water practice, which is also Ayurvedic. So you can do that as well in the morning. Speak into your water, close your eyes, meditate, envision all of your wishes and things, whatever you want to call in that day: love, abundance, happiness, groundedness, peace, ease, compassion. And then drinking it slowly, really being there for yourself, but also doing those physical cleanses of your body. You can wash with salt if you want, or take a salt bath, things of that sort to clear your energy. So water is definitely important right now. Let's go ahead and do this one. Peridot. So peridot is a green stone, which is also the color of the heart chakra. So a lot of you could be experiencing some tightness or things going on in your chest if you are feeling the heaviness of this transition right now, or just in general, releasing and cutting ties. Make sure you cut ties also from your heart space. And wear green, eat green vegetables. I've surrounded myself with green plants because I love it. They are very grounding, very happy, very supportive for you. So it says well-being, attracting money, good luck charm. Says healing heartbreak. Yeah, so maybe some of you should really spend some time out in nature with green plants. If you have peridot, I would definitely use it. Even if you have a money practice, putting it on your altar, wearing the color green, working with green, um, drinking green juices, even like that is going to be really stabilizing for you. I've actually been kind of craving that. And then at the bottom of the deck is moss agate, which is perfect. Moss agate is new beginnings, nature connection, animal allies, and security, y'all. You can't make this shit up. So Make sure that you are really celebrating and welcoming your new beginnings by allowing whatever needs to come up right now to come up, and just release it if you need to, right? Just be really gentle, connect with nature. That's like the fourth time that's come up in this reading. Work with your animal allies and find security. I want to pull, ooh, y'all must be really fucking psychic. But so malachite is also another great stone. Pain relief, transformation, vision, powerful protection. So if you feel like you're needing a little bit more extra protection, I would definitely call out to malachite. It's like a dark green with kind of black swirls in it. I have a ring of it. I love it a lot. Works best if it's paired with another crystal. So lapis lazuli, prophetic dreams, releasing anger, serenity, grace. We also talked about this as well. So lapis lazuli is also great, especially if you're a fire sign, and also Sagittarius. Onyx, seeing the future, responsibility, stamina, self mastery. So, again, self mastery, really making sure that you know yourself, you get to know who you are, what you want, what you are desiring, so you can really catapult yourself into the future. So, let's get. I'm going to get one card from my Mary Magdalene deck, and then I'm going to get one card from our final ancestor deck, and then that is going to be it from me. This Mary Magdalene deck actually just kind of came to me, which was interesting. Well, maybe if we have time for a Night Fairies one. Wow, this one came up not that long ago. So, witness, I am fully seen. So, making sure that you are seeing the dualities within yourself, honoring them, whether you believe in masculine, feminine, or just the duality of energies within you, or if you're in a partnership, making sure that you're both feeling seen as you go through this transition. Again, doing the lover's knot if you really want to connect with each other, to ground in that new energy. And honor yourself. If you're wanting to call in a new partner, make sure you accept all the parts of you before you do that, so you can honor and respect the beautiful parts of them. So now let's pull one last card. This is my new deck, which I absolutely love. So again, shout out to Azure for recommending it. It's very, very beautiful. Let me put this over here. That's not even one of the cards. So let's pull our last card from here, and then I think that'll be it. Oh no, I'm doing a fairy one. That's what I wanted to do. So book. So book is a really cool card. You can kind of think of this as your book of knowledge, right? Book of who you are, book of where you're wanting to go. You can even think of an ancestor book. Like I keep you can call it an ancestor book or Grimm, just anything that you're probably going to pass on to someone else, or that keeps things that are important. Like I put my spells and things in there. I put my plants in there. I put wishes in there. I put observations that I made, things that have worked really well for me, affirmations. So, what is in your book of knowledge, and how can you really share it with other people? But knowledge in general, which brings me to a really, I'm just going to tell you a story because this is just aligning so well. So when I was in Ojai, like I meet a lot of these cool people, and I know they're here to share in their story, and we share in our story to help each other on our journey. But they've been very kind of specific messages. And I met someone named Alion, and he's an African art trader, and um, he was asking me my name, and I told him, but I told him my Igbo name. And then we started talking about Africa, and he was like, I'm going to teach you a word in Wolof. And I was like, okay, cool. I like don't really speak any of the languages. And so he spoke of Xam Xam. I think he said XAM, which meant knowledge, and that we all needed to connect with each other so we can share knowledge and uplift each other, bring ourselves out of oppression, bring ourselves out of sadness and scarcity. And so I've really carried that with me since then, because I think there's a lot of times where even if we don't know someone, we might be a little skittish to share information with them, or to like talk to a stranger on the side of the street, right? Like Maybe it's just in passing, or if you're at the grocery store, like sharing in knowledge, sharing gifts. If you have your own spiritual gifts, sharing them online, or if you're a coach, sharing everything that you have. Really not worrying about the money, like, because that's not really what it's about. The money is always there for you, but if you are holding this energy, which we look at the back of the deck, right? Reserving your energy only for yourself, that's really not going to help the rest of the world out, and it's not going to help you out. So, how can you freely give from a place of self awareness, self empowerment, and self advocacy, right? But advocating for others in terms of sharing that knowledge so that they can help advocate for themselves and other people. So, I think that's really important for this. And then, 26 adding up to 8, which is a very abundant number. So, really getting to know yourself and who you are so you can call in that abundance, that 8, or that infinity, right? Infinitely knowledgeable. Which comes up sometimes with coaches. Oh, I don't want to share too much. And I'm like, you're brilliant. You're never going to run out of ideas. So you might as well just start sharing right now. Let's do our final card for real this time. It's from one of my favorites, the Night Fairy deck. And I might actually read these ones to you depending on what the card is, because I don't really remember them very well, to be honest. I'm going to pull 2, but I'm going to read 1. So we have this first card, which is inspiration. I love this one. This one comes out a lot for me. I feel like I'm constantly being inspired. And then this other one is Fae of Friendship. And I think I'm really being called to read inspiration. So let's go ahead and read that one. That's Italian. Okay, inspiration. A gift granted to the heart. Invocation. She was uncertain and unsure, waiting for her next move, standing in the dark of night and wondering what she would do, until inspiration came and granted her the wish of a dream inside her heart. Let me hold it up so you can actually see it, because you can see the hummingbird at her heart. Waiting for inspiration, your heart's dream, your inner muse. Meditation. The hummingbird is a precious pollinator who flutters from flower to flower as her tiny wings burst with energy. Not a single flower is missed along her route. Are you waiting for a bit of proverbial pollination? Be patient, for the spirit of the hummingbird is on its way to grant you the spark of a dream, your next bold move. Affirmation. I live my life inspired, and by extension am inspiring. My muse will soon arrive along your fairy flight. Sometimes we just have no choice but to sit back and allow inspiration to come in time to pollinate our minds. Take some deep breaths and remember that not everything has to come from you, but through you. Do your best to be a clear channel as always. So I think this is a really beautiful card to end this reading on. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself. You really don't need to be forcing yourself into doing anything. Just be in your energy, get lots of rest, drink water, connect with the earth. It's clear that we're all supposed to be getting to know ourselves right now before we go through this portal. Let these old doors fully close. You don't need them anymore. You don't need the energies. You don't need the people. If you want something new, you got to create the space and the energy for it. So release it so you can carry them. And I think that's it. So again, feel free to like this video, subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram. And again, I did open tonight, just now, signups for any personal readings you're wanting to do. We can do them over the phone or we can do them over Zoom. So those are available to you. And if you're needing anything, feel free to reach out anytime. I'm sending you lots of love this solar eclipse and this happy, happy Libra new moon that is coming. And if you need anything, feel free to reach out anytime. So thanks, folks.